Commander Junior Training. This is kind of how the squad works and how guilds and commanders make up the parties of 5 and spread out boons, and just the basic stuff of how the stuff you can click on as a commander works, because nobody ever tells you any of that. Alright, so let's go ahead and start moving, and we'll walk and talk here. Alright, so party comp, group comp, composition is trying to form our group around parties of 5, which then become 10, which then become 15, 20, with little adjustments here and there to make sure our group's covered on both offense in, either Condi or power or both, boon removal, and then on the support side, our boons and our heals and condition removal. So, generally speaking, as far as and all this is going to be super high level. I'm not going to dig deep into builds or anything like that. There's other times for that. But as far as what you want in the group, since World vs. World has existed, you've always needed a guardian. There's unignorable stability that you have to get from a guardian. You can get a little bit out of a rev, but it's not ever going to be as good. So, as I'm setting on my squad here, boop, I'm moving myself down to party 2. So since you guys are all lieutenants, you're also expected to speak up a little bit and kind of help out the commander when he can't micromanage everything and remind him of stuff. Oh, look, we got a little thing killed. Because there's just too much stuff to micromanage. I mean, some commanders try to do it all, and they're, a special kind of person, but the more the commander can delegate to the lieutenants to do, the more they can focus on the situation, and, you can only do so much, so.
Especially if you're typing.
Yeah, the less you can type, the better. And I mean, that's another one, if somebody's commanding and you can relay what they're saying in say chat, that helps hugely. You're always going to have 4 or 5 pugs that are going to read what you're typing but never hear what you say. So I put myself in party 2. You need to, what I was getting to with that is you need to ask the commander to put themselves in party 2, because you can't move them. So you set the commander, you bother them until they get themselves into party 2, and then you build the group around them. It's much easier than trying to build around party 1, because it changes all the time. Everybody new that comes in the group, bam, party 1, and you're messed up again. So 9 times out of 10, maybe not that quite that much, but a lot of times the commander is going to be a guardian. That's just kind of how it's played out, because that's how things started, I guess. And commanders needed guardians, and they didn't have any, so they started playing a guardian.
I understand the group gets first priority for buffs and stuff, but the closest 5 to you gets the buffs.
Yes. So if I have 5 people in my party and 4 of them are way out of range, and I have 5 people that are in party, or that are not in party and they're close by, yes, they'll get the boon. But there is a problem with overlapping boons, and say, if it's not set up right, one person could get all the boons and the other people get none of the boons, regardless of where you're standing. So that's why it's so key for us to organize our groups of 5, because it works better. Yeah, it's very, very much known that the Condi clear and the boons and all that, the heals all apply better in groups of 5 like that. All right, so covering our... Yeah, and by all means ask questions. There's a lot to this, and I don't know what people don't know sometimes, so the more people can ask, the better. But yeah, so generally speaking, Guardians covering stability, protection, they're covering Aegis, they're covering some CC, some might, mainly the stability and the blocks. They've got the blocks with shield, they've got the F3 blocks, the resistance, another big one, and then more stability. So if you're a good Pugmander, you're a good fight commander. Nobody can tell you different. There's it would apply either way basically, but yeah, you could try to wing this and do this as a Pugmander and just work with what you got. If you are with a group that you have comms with, you can just kind of ask them to switch, and then you have everything that you need, and that's what we try to do. So I've got my Guardian for my boons, my stability, my protection. I'm going to go ahead and spread those out. So I got Chalkboard down there, and I'm going to put Regulus down there. Now, this didn't used to be so much of a thing, but there's a lot of burn guards now. So, and random dragon hunters and all this and that. Not every guardian's going to be healing you. So it's on really the lieutenants to ask people as they're getting into the squad, a firebrand is likely a healer, but not all the time. They might be doing burns, and that might not be what you need. So you need to clarify that with people. And if you are coming in as guardians, it's good to volunteer that information. So I'm just guessing that the 3 guardians that we have are healing based stability pumping guardians. And in this case, it doesn't really matter if we are or not, but that's just something to think about when you're in groups. So those are the anchors of the group. Those are the ones pumping out stability and blocks. Now I'm gonna add a little spice to the pudding here. Squad markers. So there's some extra hotkeys that you may or may not have set up, but under your control options, there's a whole set of them for squad. It's a lot of like control 1 2 3 4 5 and shift 1 2 3 5. But that's how people put out these silly Lucky Charms looking doodads. I can put them on the ground, or I can put them on people. And you can do that too. The lieutenants can also put those down. So what I'm doing here is marking the guardians so they're visible to everyone. So when people are getting messed up, they know where to run to or where to dodge towards. Or if I get messed up, I know where to go. And you can do that with whatever. We could put markers on the whole squad if we wanted. Some people might put them on a warrior so they know where the bubble's going in. So beyond the support for the Guardian, we've got Condiclear support, which by default is the support NG. So at that point, we'd spread out Kai and Neo to our first 2 parties. So we're trying to make sure the commander is covered first and foremost, and then going down to groups 3 and 4 from there as we have stuff to fill in. So then we have our DPS, then we have our damage. You may have Ellies in there to spread out, and same thing, you need to be checking with people if they're doing damage or not damage. The NGs too, some of our NGs here might be damage NGs, and then we're not getting the support we expect out of them. Because it's really about the balance of support and damage in the group. That's the only thing that really you can tweak and make a big impact on the group on the fly. So for a long time, 2 support, 3 damage. Now it's a lot more 3 support 2 damage. It's hard to come up with 3 support a lot of times, but winning groups, like full-on winning fight guilds, run 3 support a lot of the time. So you're left with your other 2 as damage, 2 to 3 depending on what we get. So that's the other indispensable one, the Necro. So I'll put Salamander in 2 there. So you have Reapers and you have Scourges. And I love me some Reapers, but they're not as flexible as the Scourges, mostly due to barrier. The Scourge can put out barrier to the group, to the party of 5, just like the boons are being done, which is just one more cushion so we don't take damage. And the boon removal that you get out of a Scourge is always better than the Reaper. So there's nothing wrong with having both. You're just trying to balance that out and make sure you have your boon removal covered by having enough Scourges. If you have enough really good Reapers, you might be okay. You're going to need to count more on your Warrior bubble then, though. So that's our other piece. Our boon removal, we have a Warrior bubble, so I'm sticking that in 2 now.
Yeah, check out the size of this stuff. Whoop.
So the Warrior bubble, big deal. It's super slow cooldown. You only really get 1 per fight. You're not going to be able to do it twice in a fight. So if it's gone, it's gone. And if you're the only warrior, you just, you blew that option. The group doesn't have that option anymore. So that one is it's so high skill, high value. It's good to really have more if you want to try to have a lot of Reapers, because the Reapers don't do as much boon removal as the Scourges. So it's, less Scourges, more Warrior bubbles. It's a balance between the two because they're both doing the same thing. They're both doing the boon removal. The difference is the Scourge can do it long range. The Warrior can do it only close range. So if the enemy's better at CC than us, if they outnumber us, if they have better range than us, the Warrior's not going to make it. They're not going to get there. The Warrior gets stuck, all of our boon removal is gone, and the Reapers are just spinning somewhere uselessly and not killing anyone.
Time to do some real damage.
Yeah, I like leap into a crowd, and then if there's like 5 around, I'll drop the bubble.
The thing is really about the timing and being super conscious of your group, much more so than your own skills or what the enemy's doing. And I'm gonna give you a quick setting for everybody to check right quick. Game menu, options. So in that first set of checkboxes there in the general options, the thick party health bar, thick squad health bar, always show party health bar, always show squad health bar. Definitely get those checked to have more awareness of your own group. You have to have your mouse all the way zoomed out. You have to be spinning your mouse, looking vertical. And if you go down a little bit more to camera, you have to have your field of view all the way over to the right. Really good to have rotation speed all the way to the right. Damn near all that stuff should be all the way to the right. You have to be able to see. You have to more than just mash buttons. You have to have a tactical view of everything that's going on, not just what your character's doing. So that being the case, and us knowing how swiftness works and stability and all that, we've got our warrior going. We're trying to give him all the boons we can come up with before he's going in and getting his bubble off. So we have to have an idea of range and how far is too far for them to hit us. When you see people stacking up, you see stealth, you see empowers, it has to be far. If you're doing a close stack, a close empower, don't even bother. It's not going to help. You have to be away from them. So, normal empower. Let's do stealth. Stealth. And we'll blast it. Blast. All right. So now we're just going to walk towards the bridge here, walking towards the bridge, making sure everybody's together, walking towards the bridge. Now, right about here, we have to start thinking closer range. So at this point, we're getting on stability, we're getting on protection, every boon you can come up with, and the warrior's going for the bubble. So once we're in range, bam, there goes the bubble. And our Necro should be following with everything they got as far as shrouds and wells and whatever they can come up with to damage on our feet. A breach, any kind of CC we can get, any kind of pull to keep them in that area. So let's get this frame up here. Do we even have? We probably have glass. So what we just did on the bridge there, you know, stack up, might up, push, done. That's kind of the one push. That's the first step, and a lot of commanders never make it beyond that. And once something else happens in the fight, they don't know what to do, and it's kind of done. The tendency is for a lot of people to freeze up in that moment because a lot of things are happening. And even if you make the wrong call or you go the wrong direction, it's better than freezing up and doing nothing because the enemy still has to react to it, and you buy yourself a little time.
Yeah, and a lot of enemy people, once they get hit, they get scared because they got hit.
Yeah, and there's a lot of visuals with this game that people don't take into account, but the visuals of standing in one spot together and not backpedaling and little things like that, not telegraphing your skills too early. Like a good enemy commander can see that stuff and they know what they're doing, what you're doing. They can see you squat down to empower. They see the gyro happening when they look over the wall. So you can give yourself away and give them an advantage pretty easily if you're too stereotypical with your moves. You know, pushing right down the road. You know, why push right down the road? Go off the road. Go around them. Go around to the back. Don't go right through every trap and every red circle you can find. I mean, as far as the group goes, though, like what you're seeing right now in our group is about what you want to see. The last slot, the 5 there would just be an extra damage, which, you know, hopefully we'd get some Necros, some extra Warriors, some Revenants. Revenants is one we're missing a lot. If we can get more Revenants, that makes a difference. They add a lot of range damage that we don't have. The Scourge has some range, but the Rev has more range. It has a huge spike with the hammer that you can't really beat. But the other thing that you'll notice too is we lack NGs a lot, and the NGs, aside from pumping super speed like crazy, or I'm sorry, aside from taking off conditions like crazy, they're giving super speed. So a lot of times we'll have the NG to cover 1 or 2 parties, and then that third party has no NG and they have no super speed, and they're just not able to keep up. So there's some stuff that just kind of doesn't work as well unless we have enough to cover everybody. And you can compensate. I mean, if you can get an LE, you can get them to put out some super speed for you, but it's harder to make up for that. The only other stuff as far as Lieutenant Squad wise relates to more once you're set as commander. There's a couple of things that you have to click as far as allowing members to send invites and whether the group's open or closed, the squad message. That stuff only the commander can adjust. So that's other stuff, you know, like, oh, put the Discord and the squad message. Like you just have to remind them to do that. Mesmer, I mean, you have so you have utility classes, which would be somewhat your warrior and then your mesmers. And then also, to a lesser extent, rangers. They don't really bring a lot in the way of damage, but they bring something else. Which for... wait a minute, I can't go here, can I? No. Green spawn. No! Cannot go there.
Damn, brother.
Learned a lesson today. This is their spawn, so we cannot go there.
The legendary defender said no.
I knew it too. I saw legendary. I was like, man, I shouldn't get too close to that. And shot me. So yeah, you want to cover your basic slots that I kind of went over. The mesmer falls into kind of a miscellaneous place of being CC and stealth. So it's tough on the mesmers. Like a mesmer, you really are only going to have one of them normally. So the pressure's on. They have to be like on it with their veil and their mesmer and whatever their portal. Veil supply.
Mantras, I found that to be the best party suitable, I guess. If you run the stability mantra and the Kandi mantra,
Talking about mesmer.
yeah,
Yeah, the mantras are good. They're good supportive options.
you get 3 seconds, 3 stacks of stability twice, and three Kandi three three Kandis removed twice per mantra cast.
The big ones you're seeing on mesmers right now is it's back to Grabwell. There's a lot of Grabwell with the improvements on the old Chronomancer, which is finally seeing some attention. And then the null field. The null field is really big. The null field has some of that long distance boon removal that is missing, particularly if you don't have enough scourges.
I've been seeing a lot of pew pews from the enemy. So I've been running the dome, which reflects it right back at him.
So your warrior dome's going to block it, but it's not going to reflect it. The only reflects we're going to get out of Guardian.
Not enough
The
endurance.
mesmer.
Oh, the mesmer dome. Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. So yeah, the mesmer, it's tough. If you have more than one, you got to try to get one to swap, and the one that you have, they provide some good stuff with the veil and the Gravwell, but not as much with the stealth. Really, a lot of your stealth is just your NGs. Yeah, commanding in World vs. World, it is intimidating, no doubt. I mean, there's a lot of salt and grumpy people in map chat and just general overly high expectations that, yeah. Yeah, a little bit of sneakiness, you can kind of dodge a lot of that. I mean, if you have the option to set the group private like we do, and you don't have to really worry about the peanut gallery and what people think of what your group is doing, anything like that. And I mean, even if you're just online at a random time and you can get 4 or 5 guildies together and what random people you can and take a tower, you're still commanding. It's still the same thing. You just don't have quite as much organization.
But getting them, they like slowly trickle in. Like you get one, and you get two. Not even in the squad. Just they don't even join the squad. I had like 4 people in the squad this morning, and I think I ended up gathering about 15 people, but only 4 joined the squad. So it was like it was interesting.
And that's about normal, honestly, for a lot of times. If they don't know you and they don't really have name recognition of that commander tag, a lot of people just won't join. They don't bother. Or sometimes they may have their own little parties going and this and that, but there does seem to be a vital core number that you have to maintain to really keep the squad going, and it's normally about 5. Like I don't really try to make my tag visible or even to tag up at all unless we've already got 5 people. Like, it's just too hard to keep it together. I mean, you're really winging it and kind of fighting uphill unless you can get a few people together that actually want to play together. Doesn't help much if, you know, you got a squad of 10 and 5 are off on the other side of the map. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of what I had on this. So grab this tower here and jump in some real world. The best commanders realize that commanding is more about keeping people entertained than
Yeah,
winning the fight.
definitely.
Pretty easy to get caught up and get grumpy when you lose and all that, but it's still a game, still gotta have fun and not let your bad mood rub off on everybody else.
Yeah, I had a few people message me that even though we might not have won some of them, it was fun as hell running with you. Because I'd laugh and you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh at some of this shit. Even
Yeah.
if you lose, you gotta laugh.
Yeah, that concludes our lieutenant training here. So I'm gonna make sure my squad is private and let's go see about Darkhaven Borderland.